Sales Academy. Hello, it's Adam Brooks again. So I'm coming to you with a musing that a humorous one, but also a deep thought thinking one. Take it where you want to, right? But I normally do. And yeah, so YouTubers, podcast listeners, followers, LinkedIners, tweeters, Facebookers, lurkers, and everything in between. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. A number of you have been sharing the podcast and the YouTube channel, and I appreciate it and support it. But more importantly, I hope you're getting value from the musings. That's what these are for. They're just real life experiences and musings about things that come up in conversation as a coach with human beings and people in business and life. So here it is. Shut up, I'm manifesting. All right. Shut up, I'm manifesting. Now, I want to share a couple of things with you. Going back, there's a brilliant article on Vox.com, which was October last year. Yeah, end of October, November, October last year. So if you go to Vox.com, you'll find this. I'll probably put a link in for it, but it was an article called Shut Up, I'm Manifesting. And it was an interesting, like I say, quite humorous article as well, talking about, and it starts off talking about Rhonda Lynn Byrne's book, The Secret, which I'm sure many of you would have read, and the fact that it was full of new ageisms and stuff like that. And the reality is, you can't cure yourself from cancer, or you can't be blamed for getting cancer because you didn't do enough positive manifestations that you wouldn't get cancer and stuff. So yeah, there's a number of things that it can easily be poo-pooed and stuff like that. But at the same time, there is a massive craze within the youngsters. Rhonda Byrne's book, The Secret, was written how many years ago now? So 2006, that was published, right? 2006. And you've now got kids that are all over TikTok and the internet and all that sort of stuff. And manifesting is right up in their lives, right? And so last year, it skyrocketed in terms of Google searches, in terms of how to manifest and all that sort of stuff. 669% upreach in people searching about manifestation, right? And about manifesting things in their lives and what does it all look like and stuff. And the term that a lot of the kids are using now is scripting, right? It's like, how do I script something? So if I script this thing and then I talk about it a lot and I keep sharing it and talking about it, then it becomes a thing. So shut up, I'm manifesting has become a really, really cool thing pre-pandemic, sort of from about 2017 onwards. But youngsters are kind of doing it. It's like, I've got this crush on this guy. My daughter's 14 and she's talking about scripting, and she's suddenly interested in the things that I do and I teach and I share, because her and her friends are getting into this. And I'm really, really, really pleased to see, hear, and feel that some of the non-curriculum, non-standard stuff is getting through. Because the power of manifestation is insane, right? One of the self-help Bible of all time, other than if you want to go back to the Old Testament, New Testament, and all that sort of stuff, and I'm not a religious guy, but you want to go back to the scriptures, fill your boots, But if you look at like Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, claimed, and as the biggest and most successful self-help book of all time. And probably I don't even know how many copies that's sold, right? But you got The Science of Getting Rich, Positive Power of Positive Thinking, The Secret, as I mentioned earlier, all these brilliant books. Like The Secret sold 30 million copies. So whether Rhonda Byrne was right or wrong, who's laughing last, right? So if kids are getting into this and understanding that there's a real power behind this positive thinking and outlook and mental energy and vibrations, if we're getting into this at a young age, this is fascinating, because I want to take you back on a little bit of a journey, right? I want to take you back to a time when I was working in not recruitment as such, but in corporate. And a lot of the things I did as a leader in corporate was you get involved in recruitment drives and the team management stuff. That's what you do when you're a leader, right? So when we had these like ongoing recruitment drives, I would kind of work with people to get them thinking about not the guys that are going to be doing the interviews, but also people that are going for. I'd have people come to me and be mentored by me to help me get that next role and stuff like that. And one of the things I always talk about, and I say always, it's about engaging people and seeing how open they are to this stuff as well. But one of the things I talk about is, right, how do we get you ready for the interview? And one of the things I'm going to ask you to do is go beyond the interview. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, if you focus on the interview, you'll make the interview such a big thing that it's so easy to get tangled up, and it's so easy. You know, someone asks you a question that you don't know, or they ask you if you have any questions at the end and you don't know. So easy to just trip ourselves up and just fall into that black hole because we've made it such a big thing. Therefore, the fears are right behind that. Therefore, mistakes and failure and all that sort of stuff is so big. It really, really shows up in our life. And that in itself is manifestation, is manifesting, but the wrong bloody shit. So anyway, I digress. So let's go beyond the interview. So what I would do is get them to think about their 6-month review. So let's assume that you've already got the job, right? And let's assume that you're at your 6-month review, which normally would mean you've passed your 3-month probation. So you're not just wondering whether or not you're being kept on, you're in, you're part of the team, right? And in that 6-month period, you've gone past the induction, you've gone past probation, you've gone past a bit of learning about the company, the organization, the products and services, the client base, and all that sort of stuff. So you've gone through a very fast learning curve, and you're really at that peachy point of performance where 6 to 18 months is that real optimum. Now you're really stepping into your power in that role, right? So imagine your 6-month review where you're sitting down with your boss and you're going to share with them everything that you've achieved, right? And what you're loving about your role and what you've done, what you've brought to the table, what you've delivered. That's what you're sharing in that 6-month review. Imagine manifesting and visualizing that pre-interview. How small does the interview now become? Because you're not focused on getting the job. You're already in the canteen. You're visualizing, well, you know, where are you having lunch? What are the guys? What kind of, is there a car? What kind of color carpet do we have in the office and stuff like that? And what is it? What are the social events like? How do the team gel? You know, what's the banter like and stuff like that? What kind of working vibe is it? All of that stuff you are focusing on, and you're enabling your powerful supercomputer, which is your imagination, which, by the way, is not able to distinguish between fact and fiction in so many aspects. Understand that from a psychological point of view. Imagination can trick you that the fiction is real and the real is fiction. Distinguishing between the two is very difficult for the supercomputer. So if we can trick it about bad shit, which we do all the time, we can also trick it about good shit, but we're not programmed to do that, especially not British. Oh my God. We tried that once in the winter of 52. It was bitter cold. We're not going back there again. You know, that's the kind of British thinking. We got such a big pass box that all our references are so old and out of date, but we've got a massive filing cabinet of past references that we go to, a standard, right? So what I'm asking you to do is don't do that. Go forward. Go think about the amazing things that you can achieve, and you're sharing that stuff at your 6-monthly review. Now go smash the interview. Now see how you show up, not just turn up, at the next interview. And that's how I used to train people and get them thinking about it. And the results they got were amazing. And the results they still get, and they still come back to me and say, I got another video. Can we have another conversation? I don't work for the same company. They don't work for the same company, but the relationships have been built strong and the success has been delivered upon. And they remember that stuff and they come back. And as a coach, as a mentor, as somebody that plays a part in somebody else's journey, man, that shit's worth its weight in gold. That gets me out of bed. All right, that smashes the paycheck out the window for me. So manifesting, I know in my heart, in my life, in my physical being and my spiritual being, I know how powerful manifesting can be. And I also appreciate how often I do it. I also appreciate and respect how often I slip off that wagon. So bringing it into a habit, bringing manifesting and visualization into a habit, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly. What can you do in your life? What do you want? Who do you need to be? So what do you want to have? Who do you need to be? And what do you need to do? Simple life formula: be, do, have. Be multiplied by do equals have. So visualize that stuff. You know, you want another scenario to go through? IVVM: idealize, visualize, verbalize, materialize. Blue sky it, dream it, right? Then start to visualize it. Allow yourself to dream all the potential, and then start to talk about that to people that you know and trust, that effectively won't laugh at you in the early stages, like the guy in Simpsons going, ha ha, but then get more confident in talking to strangers about it. Or if you want to, if you feel more confident talking to strangers first before you go to family, friends, and everything else, because they'll think you're a bloody loon or another one of your random ideas, but talk about it. Talk about it out loud to yourself. Talk about it to people. Start writing it down. Start making it more real, right? Idealize, visualize, verbalize, and it starts to materialize. Not because of some bloody voodoo, not because of some woo-woo shit that we can't run, but because you are actually tuning your reticular activating system and your psychology and your brain, your supercomputer, to focus on these things and find opportunities that previously you were too busy buried in your frigging email inbox to even notice. Oh, and by the way, an email is everybody else's to-do list. So get off emails. They're a killer. So manifesting, the power of manifesting, challenge yourself to have a go at manifesting. And again, if you want help with this, come and have a conversation, because the power of manifesting is brilliant. But Shut Up, I'm Manifesting is a subject title of this podcast, because I wanted to get you thinking about it. And if the kids are coming through doing this now and they're really seeing the power of it, and they've been able to manifest things in their lives that they've been working on and focusing and everything else, everything in life is energy. Everything in life is energy. We just got to tune in. All right, cool. Peace out, guys. Love you all. See you soon.